This week alone, 11 American scientists are dead or missing.
One dead or missing scientist, that's a mystery. Two might be a coincidence. But 11? How do you take that?
Most tied to nuclear, aerospace, or UFO research. The FBI just confirmed Monday they're investigating.
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff.
I got one more thing. It's a hot question. Something totally different than what we've been chatting about here.
As you're getting that, Sean,
yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me here. And thanks for having conversations like this, not just this, but like this, to the Ro Khannas, to whoever else is willing to show up. Because it takes courage, man. You know,
I love that. I love doing it. I mean, I've had tons of people on here that think not exactly like me, but very similar. And those conversations get fucking boring really fast because you're just in an echo chamber. So I want to talk to people that disagree with me, that have different ideas. And I think that's how you find real solutions. And not very many people are doing it, but it's growing. And so thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it.
Seriously.
Happy to have you on the Young Turks if you'd like. And
I'd love to do it.
Yeah. Love it.
So we had a hot question here. You familiar with Claude? Claude Anthropic? So before you came on, we had Claude, Anthropic's AI, scrape the internet and find one question that my audience would want to ask you most. This week alone, 11 American scientists are dead or missing. Most tied to nuclear, aerospace, or UFO research. The FBI just confirmed Monday they're investigating. That probably doesn't mean anything. A retired.
Yeah, confirmed Tuesday that they're covering it up as we speak.
Oh, man. A retired Air Force general who commanded Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the Roswell base, walked out of his house with a sidearm and vanished. Meanwhile, Trump's posting AI Jesus memes, Hegseth's quoting Pulp Fiction as scripture, the Epstein files are being withheld page by page, and the WEF just ranked disinformation the top global risk of 2026. So here's the question. What's your honest take? What do you think is actually going on here, and how does the average American cut through all this noise and figure out what's actually real?
Yeah, so let me give a specific and a broad answer. On the specifics, of course, there's no way I could know or you could know what happened to those guys, right? Mm-hmm. But the most important thing is don't trust the government or the mainstream media, okay? So the phrase conspiracy theory is actually a conspiracy in and of itself. Okay, this is hilariously trippy. But once JFK got shot, from then on, they started using this phrase, conspiracy theory. It was meant to discredit anything that was not the official government narrative. Okay, so if you're outside the government narrative, ironically, the journalists, the media, who are supposed to challenge the government, right, will then, instead of challenging the government, enforce government propaganda. So they say, if you don't believe that JFK was shot by a magic bullet, conspiracy theory, okay? You're bad. Bow your head to the government. Wait a minute, I thought you guys were supposed to be reporters, right? So they now use the media to declare everything a conspiracy theory if it's not the official government position. So honestly, I didn't know that for a long, long time. I now know it. I figured it out through all of these current events, right? Because it became a pattern that was undeniable. So that is a way to shut down the conversation. Do not let them shut down the conversation. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here, let's take a benign one that isn't that political. Aliens, right? So they told us our whole life, conspiracy theory, right? Now Obama has verified that there was aliens. Trump has then kind of accidentally verified it by
ironically, at the height of the Epstein files, the height of it, when everybody was fucking pissed, that's when this shit came out.
All of a sudden, distractions.
And now all of a sudden you got congressmen and fucking senators. Oh yeah, aliens are breeding with human beings. Like it's not like.
But wait, you told me a minute ago that was a conspiracy theory, right?
I'm sorry, what the fuck? Did you just drop that aliens are breeding with fucking human beings just nonchalantly, like it's almost common knowledge? And and then you don't give us anything else, like it's enough for the peons.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Exactly.
Fuck you and your fucking distraction. And now we know that you're just sticking up for pedophiles once again.
So now, especially on the left, if you say that you're willing to question the official narratives, you get a world of pain. Okay. So for example, if I say, I don't believe the government on the Charlie Kirk shooting. Okay. I don't know what happened. I don't know who did it. I don't have the inside information, but it is very unlikely to be the story they told. A lot of people on the left, and certainly in mainstream media and the establishment, which the Democrats care way too much about, they'll be like, that's outrageous. Oh, you become a lunatic radical, right?
There's a lot of lunatics out there.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't care anymore. You can shove all those, accusations up your ass because I'm going to use my own judgment. I'm not going to blindly believe the government. That is not a left-wing position. The left wing is supposed to super aggressively challenge the government and those that are in power. By the way, same thing with the right wing. You're supposed to challenge big government, etc. So don't tell us to shut up and be quiet. Okay. So I have no idea what happened to those guys, and I don't know who it's connected to. There is one country. This is the only data point I'll put out there. And again, it doesn't mean it's just one data point. Okay. But there is one country that kills nuclear physicists on the regular. That's Israel. They brag about, and Netanyahu just did it last week. Everything I say is on tape and you can confirm it. Okay. He said the other day, oh, we murdered 8 Iranian physicists and we got them. Ha, ha, ha. Then we murdered another 12 physicists and we got them. And now they don't have any physicists left and we're in charge. And they've been targeting Iranian physicists well before the war started. We've been covering it on the Young Turks. They put a bullet in some guy's head as he was picking up his kids from kindergarten. He's a civilian. He's a physics professor. And they shot him in front of his kids to send a message. Okay. So, and then I'm amused by the establishment guys who always say like, oh yeah. The CIA, for example, has killed people in other countries and done coups in the 60s and 70s, etc. But they never do it inside America. Are you sure? Are you doubly sure? Israel has done X, Y, and Z with the pagers and this and Lebanon and Iran. And yeah, have they done anything? But they would never do anything inside America. You mean like steal our nuclear secrets? Because they already did that. You mean like stealing all the rest of our top secrets? Because they already did that. You tell me Israel wouldn't do anything inside America? Are you blind? Are you deaf? Are you insane? Of course they do things inside America. They do things inside America all the time. I mean, we've incentivized them to spy on us and to do anything we like because we declare them above the law. You think Tom Alexandrovich is bad? That's the guy in Vegas who did the sexual tourism for American kids that he thought he could rape and get away with, which he did. Luckily, he didn't rape them because we caught him before they did anything. Okay. But okay, how about Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell? Okay. Robert Maxwell was the greatest Mossad agent of all time. State burial once he died in Israel with a bunch of prime ministers attending, etc. So what was his coup de grace? He's the guy who stole our nuclear secrets, and that's why Israel has nukes now. Now, here's the kicker. We never even arrested him.
Of course we didn't.
Okay, wait, there's a second kicker. First of all, so you steal our fucking nuclear secrets. There's nothing worse than that. By the way, the Israelis later sold them to the Soviets. They're the worst, okay? I looked up, why didn't we arrest Robert Maxwell? It would have been an international incident and embarrassed our allies. Yeah, if you steal our nuclear secrets, embarrass is the least you should get, okay? Okay, now the kicker. He then bought the company that produces textbooks for our schools. After he stole our nuclear secrets, we let him buy the textbooks that go into our schools. And lo and behold, the textbooks say that Israel was attacked in 1948, not that it massacred the Palestinians and took their lands. It says that Israel was attacked in 1967. That's a flat out lie. Israel did a preemptive strike and attacked all their neighbors in 67. Okay. What are we doing here? Like, Israel's been running this country for so long. So if you tell me, no, you're not allowed to ask questions about Charlie Kirk's murder, then I'm going to ask 2,000 questions about Charlie Kirk's murder. If you tell me I'm not allowed to ask about those nuclear physicists that are all coincidentally, magically gone, no, I'm going to ask 2,000 questions about those guys, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of it. And I'll tell you, I give the right wing credit on this one, because online, they do amazing work, man. They're all, you got Sherlock Holmes over there. Some of them go off the reservation and do crazy shit that isn't true, right? Plenty of them, right? But, I mean, Charlie got shot with a tiny little bullet that got stuck in his neck. And I don't know anything about guns. I'm not the expert on that, right? And guys are like, you kidding me, dog? That the rifle that he theoretically used would have blown his head straight off. And then you ask the government, why didn't it blow his head off? They said Charlie had a strong neck. No, now I'm asking 10,000 questions. Hey, how come the shooter seemed to have different clothes on at different times? They said, oh, he changed on the roof. Okay, now I'm asking 100,000 questions. He didn't change on the roof. What kind of bullshit is this? Okay. And so a sniper takes one shot. You know what amateurs do? They take a lot of shots because they're not sure they hit the guy. Right? A professional takes one shot. Okay. So I don't know if it was him. I don't know what happened, and I don't know who did it. I do know bullshit when I see it. Okay. And I can give you many other things. So I'll get ostracized by a lot of people on the left for that. They'll say, oh, you sound like a conspiracy guy. And are you intimating that maybe it wasn't? Hey, dicks, they're saying a guy on the left did it.
Higher level of thinking.
Look, I'm saying the guy on the left didn't do it. I don't think, right? I don't know what happened, right? But look at how they brainwash people. So they got folks on the left saying, no, the left wing guy did it. Left wing guy did it. Why? Why are you saying that when it might not even be true, right? Because nope, you have to believe the official government narrative, because that's what everybody on CNN and the New York Times is saying. And if you don't believe it, they'll ostracize you. They'll shun you, and they'll say no one should talk to you, and power should get nowhere near you. Okay. So that's how this game is played. So don't listen to them. Ask a lot more questions about those guys. Let's go figure it out together, man. Who knows? Maybe we do better work than the FBI does. I mean, Tucker found out more about Thomas Crooks than the FBI did, right?
Yeah.
Like you watched what Tucker, I didn't know that stuff that Tucker uncovered about Thomas Crooks. I thought that there was nothing wrong with Butler. I gave Trump a lot of credit. I said, well, that was pretty courageous to come out and say, fight, 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 right? After the brother got shot. That's bold and stuff. Now I'm seeing the guys move the photographers into place, and all of a sudden Crooks is eliminated instantly. Do I know what happened? No, I have no idea. But now I'm starting to wonder about the official story. Once you start wondering, you start seeing, oh, wait a minute. So let me get this right. Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK with the magic bullet. And then before anybody could talk to him, Jack Ruby, a mobster, shoots him dead. And a guy who was on the record before, he had made public statements saying how much he hated JFK. Why did a mobster shoot a guy who killed a guy he hates? Don't ask any questions. Yeah. Bullshit. Ask 1,000 questions. Don't ever stop.
I thought they were going to unseal that, by the way.
What's that?
I thought they were going to unseal that, by the way.
Yeah, so they go to unseal it, and then we find out through Joe Kent and others, they didn't give you the real stuff.
Yeah.
And the real stuff's not written down anyway, right? And on the Epstein files, again, Ro Khan and Tom Massey, great job. We get about half the files. And in that stuff, there's a story about how one of the victims, who was a confirmed victim, says that she had a baby and they took the baby away, and she's never seen the baby again. So I thought that was all conspiracies, but now all of a sudden there it is in black and white, and that's a confirmed survivor, right? So where's the baby? What happened to the baby, right? I thought pizza was bullshit, like Pizzagate and all that stuff. And then you look at it and you're like, oh my God, pizza did mean kids. And by the way, who knew that pizza meant kids and then leaked it to the public, right? Because somebody knew it meant it, and that's how it got into the public. And they knew all along, right? So then don't tell me there aren't conspiracies. Epstein and the drop site emails, the tranche that he found with him and Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. Every deal he does is for the benefit of Israel. Every single one. Israel with Russia, Israel with Mongolia, Israel with UAE. He procures cyber weapons for Israel. He's in the middle of Iran-Contra. Don't tell me the CIA didn't know about him. There are no civilians in Iran-Contra, okay? So he's the one that cleaned out the planes. So we use the planes for bringing in drugs. Then Wexner, through Epstein, buys the planes. So you launder the planes. But he's not part of American intelligence. So which intelligence is he a part of? Because he's definitely intelligence. And then all of a sudden he winds up hanged in committed suicide in a prison. Sure you did. Okay, I'll tell you one last thing, Sean. On Epstein, I said on the air, it's on tape, if the camera in the hallway is working and you see nobody go into his cell, then he hung himself and the government's telling the truth. If the camera is magically not working in the hallway, then they definitely killed him, right? And so that was the prediction ahead of time, so you know I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking it, etc., right? Oh, well, you look at that. Magically, the camera in the hallway wasn't working, and the guards were both off duty, and his roommate had been moved out, and the thing that he hung himself was not in the room. Something else that looked like a noose was in the... Oh, get the fuck out of here. There's a 0% chance he hung himself. No, that one I'm clear on. And who's got enough power to murder someone inside an American prison and have both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, cover it up for him? There's only one power that's got that kind of strength. The same one that he was working for the entire time.
Oh, man. We're in trouble.
And if they killed Epstein inside a prison, an American prison, who can't they kill?
Well, nobody. One last thing. Just something I've been thinking about is everybody continues to listen to this bullshit narrative from the White House on why we're going to Iran and how they've been our enemy for 47 years and all this other stuff. And they're right. They've been our enemy for a long time. They've killed a lot of my friends in war. We probably shouldn't have been there to fucking begin with. But they did. But that's not what this is about. If that's what this was about, we wouldn't be sending the Taliban 40 to 87 million fucking dollars in cash every week. We fought them for over 20 fucking years. I fought them for 14. That flag came from an Afghan American, goes by the name Legend, who still works over there for the resistance, with the resistance every once in a while. He's the one that uncovered that on this show, brought that flag in from the Taliban burning it in fucking Kabul, Afghanistan. So I framed it. If this was about old enemies, we wouldn't be funding one right now. Also, we wouldn't be parading around the president of Syria who is fucking cutting our heads off all over Congress and the White House.
So let's break that.
So save me the fucking bullshit on why we're there and how Iran's been our enemy for 47 years. Fuck you. You don't give a shit about our enemies. You're in bed with one.
I mean, look at all the patterns, right?
Not you.
Yeah, of course. So look at all the patterns. In Iraq, they told us they have weapons of mass destruction. Where do we get that fake intelligence from? Oh, look at that. Our allies in Israel gave us the fake intelligence. Okay. So, and they said, oh, he's funding proxy groups, Hamas, etc. Well, that's not our business. That's your business, right? So we went and lost how many guys in Iraq, right? Thousands. Over 50,000, I think, were injured, or 35,000 injured, right? You know, terrible, terrible injuries. For
Don't
what?
forget the suicides that came after, too.
Yeah.
That are still happening.
So for what? And Iraq didn't attack us on 9/11. You made that up, right? Everybody knows that Iraq didn't attack us. Iraq was against Al-Qaeda. Saddam would execute Al-Qaeda on the spot because Al-Qaeda wanted to topple the local Middle Eastern governments. Iran is against Al-Qaeda. Iran helped us fight ISIS, okay? So has Iran done things to us that were bad? Of course, right? Would I want to live under the Grand Ayatollah? No, Okay. So I grew up in a Muslim family and I'm an atheist now. So I'd be the first on the chopping block because you left a religion that is totally unacceptable. Okay. So it doesn't mean I like the regime. It doesn't mean we haven't had conflict with them. But wait a minute. Who did more IEDs in Iraq? Was it Iran or was it Saudi Arabia? Because the Saudis funded a huge Sunni insurgency against us in Iraq. But, the Saudis are our allies. Why are they our allies? Because they give us oil and they're allies with Israel. People don't know that, but the Saudis and the UAE have been working with Israel all along. Okay. So all of a sudden, we have to go protect Saudi Arabia, even though they might have killed more Americans than the Iranians did in Iraq. Right? So none of this makes sense. None of the government positions make sense. Why did they say 47 years? Because after the war started, it became obvious that we had no reason to go to Iran. So they had to invent a reason after the fact. So they're like, okay, Iran, what did they do? Well, if we talk about the roadside bombs, the Saudis did more. 47 years ago, they attacked our Marines in Beirut. Mm-hmm. So we got to go back 47 years to find a reason to attack them for American interests because we don't have any interest there. Only the Israelis have interests. So once the Israelis want us to do something, they invent talking points and they invent enemies. That's why the global war on terror is the global war on Israel's neighbors. So that we, like suckers, have our guys die and come home in caskets. And we spend $8 trillion fighting their wars so that Netanyahu can brag, as he did after we started the Iran war. This is also on tape. We are now going to be the sole regional superpower after Iran is eliminated. Okay. And we might even become a global superpower, he said. And after we do all his dirty work for him. Now, this is another amazing fact. Do you know the population of Israel, the closest other country to that population, to give you a sense of relative size? I looked it up, nearly identical population. Papua New Guinea.
No matter where you're watching the Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this at all, anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, head to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a review.